Mary scrubbed the floor around the pool with her usual dedication. 15 years cleaning that luxury apartment complex, 15 years being treated like she was invisible. But she didn't mind. Honest work doesn't shame anyone, as her mother always said. It was 7 in the morning when she heard the noise. A strange sound coming from the pool. Mary looked up and froze. A ragged man was on his knees at the water's edge, drinking from his cupped hands. His torn and dirty clothes clung to his skinny frame. His long, tangled hair hid a sunburned face. His beard looked unkempt for weeks, maybe months. "Oh my God," Mary murmured, dropping her rag on the ground. The man looked up, startled. His eyes. Mary felt a pang in her chest. It wasn't just hunger she saw there. It was a deep, devastating sadness. The kind of sadness she knew all too well. "Sorry, ma'am. I was so thirsty," his voice came out hoarse and weak. Before Mary could respond, heavy footsteps echoed down the hallway. "Hey! You bum!" George, the security guard, was running over with his nightstick in hand. His face red with anger. Mary knew that look well. George loved throwing his weight around on people who couldn't fight back. "Get out of here now, or you'll regret it," George shouted, advancing threateningly. The man tried to stand, but he stumbled on his weak legs. Mary saw the nightstick being raised. She didn't think. She just acted. "George, wait." Mary ran and positioned herself between them. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just thirsty. George stopped, incredulous. Then he started laughing. A cruel, mocking laugh. "You're kidding me, Mary? You're gonna defend this filthy bum?" He pointed the nightstick at the man on the ground. "Look at the mess he's bringing to the pool. I'm calling the cops, and you'll get in trouble for aiding and abetting." "Aiding and abetting what?" "Having compassion?" Mary's blood boiled. "He's a human being, George. He was just thirsty." "Human being?" George spat on the ground. "That's trash. A bum. And you're as crazy as he is if you think I'm letting this slide." Mary glanced back. The man watched her with those sad eyes, as if he couldn't believe someone was standing up for him. Something inside her broke. "Can you stand, sir?" Mary extended her hand. The man hesitated, looking from her hand to George and back to her. Then, slowly, he accepted the help. His fingers were ice-cold despite the morning heat. "Mary, have you lost your mind?" George took a step forward. "Let go of that bum right now, or I swear." "Or what, George?" Mary's voice came out steady, stronger than she felt inside. "You gonna hit me too? In front of the cameras?" It was a bluff. There were no cameras there. But George backed off, his face even redder. "Fine. Fine." He lowered the nightstick, but his pointing finger was almost as threatening. "But I'm reporting this to the HOA president. Patricia's gonna love hearing you're bringing bums into the complex. Your days here are numbered, you nutcase." George stormed off, but Mary knew the threat was real. Patricia Dunn, the HOA president, was known for her cruelty. A former model, used to belittling anyone beneath her. Mary had been on the receiving end of her insults more times than she could count. But now she had a more immediate problem. "Are you okay, sir?" Mary asked softly. The man looked at her like he'd seen a ghost. Or an angel. Mary couldn't decide which. Why did you do that?" His voice cracked. "Because you needed help." Mary shrugged, like it was obvious. "Come on. I'll take you to the staff changing room. There's a shower there. You can clean up a bit." "I can't accept that. You've already done too much. You'll get in trouble because of me." I'm gonna get in trouble anyway. Mary smiled, but it was a sad smile. So let it be for a good reason, right? At least tell me your name. The man hesitated again. Mary noticed he hesitated a lot, like every word needed careful thought. Alex. My name is Alex. Nice to meet you, Mr. Alex. I'm Mary. She started walking. Come on. I've got soap, a clean towel, and a lunch I brought for myself. You look like you haven't eaten in days. Days? Alex let out a bitter laugh. Try weeks. In the changing room, Mary set everything up. She left a clean towel, soap, even an old comb from her purse. While Alex showered, she waited outside, holding her lunchbox. 30 minutes later, he came out. Still in the same ragged clothes, but clean. His wet hair combed back revealed a face Mary imagined had been handsome once. It still was, really, despite the thinness and the marks of suffering. Sit there. Mary pointed to a bench. Eat. I already had lunch at home. Lie. She hadn't eaten lunch. She skimmed meals whenever she could, saving every penny. But Alex didn't need to know that. I can't. Alex started. You can. And you're gonna eat every bite, you hear me? You need to get your strength back. Alex sat. Opened the lunchbox. Rice, beans, a piece of chicken, salad. Simple food, but made with care. His hands shook as he picked up the fork. Mary turned her back, pretending to organize her purse. She didn't want him to feel embarrassed. She knew what it was like to be ashamed of your own needs. Mary? Alex's voice came weakly from behind her. Yes? Thank you. Not just for the food. For seeing me. People walk by me on the street like I don't exist. You saw me. Mary felt tears sting her eyes. She took a deep breath before replying. Everyone deserves to be seen, Mr. Alex. Everyone deserves dignity. What Mary didn't know was that the ragged man eating her lunch was one of the richest businessmen in the country. Alex Harper, owner of a chain of luxury hotels, fortune estimated at $100 million. Majority shareholder in that very apartment complex where he was now treated like trash. 3 months ago, Alex's wife had died in a car accident. The grief was so overwhelming that he fell into a deep depression. He decided to conduct an experiment. Live on the streets, invisible, to test if there were still genuinely kind people out there. To see if the world was as rotten as it seemed. Up to that point, he'd only seen cruelty. Kicks, spit, insults. Doors slammed in his face. Food thrown in the trash right in front of him while he starved. But now there was Mary. Alex looked at the middle-aged woman in her worn but clean maid's uniform, hands calloused from hard work. And for the first time in months, he felt something other than the pain consuming him. He felt hope. And if you were in Mary's shoes? Would you risk your job, your only source of income, to defend a total stranger that society despises? Or does compassion come at a price not everyone can pay? In the days that followed, Alex started showing up around the edges of the complex. Always discreet, always keeping his distance. But Mary knew he was there. Every day, during her lunch break, she brought food. She hid it in a plastic bag and left it in an agreed spot, behind the recycling dumpster. Alex was never in sight when she left it, but when she came back, the lunchbox was always empty and clean. You're helping that homeless guy again? Claudia, another cleaner, asked in a worried whisper. Mary, everyone's talking about it. Patricia already knows. Let Patricia know. Mary kept scrubbing the floor. I'm not doing anything wrong. Technically, no. But you know the HOA president. She'll find a way to make your life hell. Mary knew. she knew all too well. Patricia Dunn was a 55-year-old woman who clung to her past beauty like a lifeline. Former model, divorced 3 times, living off alimony from her ex-husbands and acting like she owned the world. She'd started a campaign to clean the sidewalks of homeless people, like they were trash to be swept away. "I can't let him starve, Claudia. Have you seen his eyes? That man is suffering so much." "I know, friend. You've always been like this. Heart too soft for this hard world." Claudia sighed. "Just, be careful, okay? You need this job." Mary did need it. Desperately. Because she had a secret even Claudia didn't know. Luke, her youngest son at 14, was sick. Heart condition. He needed urgent surgery. $80,000. An impossible fortune. Mary worked 3 jobs. Cleaner in the complex in the morning, house cleaner in the afternoon, office janitor at night. She slept 4 hours a day. She'd saved $32,000 in 2 years of extreme scrimping. But the doctor had said Luke couldn't wait another 6 months. His heart was too weak. Every day was a risk. "Mary?" She looked up. Alex was at the changing room door. He'd showered again, she'd given him permission to use it whenever he needed. He looked a little less gaunt, a little less ghostly. "Mr. Alex. I thought you'd left. I needed to thank you. For real." He approached slowly, like he was afraid of scaring her. "No one's ever done for me what you're doing." "Oh, it's nothing big." "It is." The intensity in his eyes made her pause. "It's everything. You don't know me. You know nothing about me. I could be dangerous. I could be a criminal. But you treat me with dignity anyway." Mary gave a tired smile. "My mom always said, treat others how you'd want to be treated if you were in their shoes. Money comes and goes, Mr. Alex. But character lasts a lifetime and into eternity." Alex closed his eyes. When he opened them again, they glistened with unshed tears. "Your mom was a wise woman." She was. Mary went back to scrubbing the floor. "Died 5 years ago. Cancer." But her lessons stuck. They sat in silence for a moment. It was a comfortable silence, full of mutual understanding. "And you?" Alex asked. "Family? I've got 2 sons. Ryan, 16, and Luke, 14. Mary's face lit up talking about them. "Good boys. Studious, respectful. My husband died when Luke was 5. Work accident. It's just been me and them since. Must be tough." "It is. But we make do." Mary didn't mention Luke's illness. She didn't want to worry anyone. "And you? Family?" Alex tensed. "I had one. A wife. She died 3 months ago. I'm so sorry." And Mary truly was. She saw the pain in him, throbbing like an open wound. "She was everything to me. When she was gone, Alex stopped, his voice faltering. "I didn't know who I was anymore. I decided to walk away from it all. Live on the streets. See the real world, not the polished version I'd always known." "And what did you find?" "That people are cruel. That no one cares about someone with nothing to offer." He looked deep into her eyes. "Until I met you." Mary opened her mouth to reply, but approaching footsteps made her stop. Claudia appeared, her face pale with fright. "Mary. Patricia's coming this way. With George. They're furious." Alex got it right away. "I'll go." "No." Mary stood. "You didn't do anything wrong. You can stay. I don't want to cause you trouble." You're not. They're the problem. But it was too late. Patricia burst into the changing room like a hurricane. George right behind, smirking maliciously. Well, well, well. Patricia looked from Mary to Alex with disgust etched on her overly Botoxed face. So it's true. You really brought a filthy homeless man into our complex. Our complex? Mary couldn't hold back. You don't even own your unit. You just rent. Patricia's face turned dark red. George stepped forward, intimidating. Watch your tone, Mary. You forgot your place. My place? My place is working honestly, which is more than I can say for you too. You. Patricia trembled with rage. You're fired. Right now. Pack your things and get out. You can't fire me. You're not my boss. Oh. I'm the HOA president. I represent all the residents. And none of us want a cleaner who brings dangerous bums into our space. Patricia pointed at Alex. Look at him. Probably crawling with diseases. And you, she turned to Mary, you stole food from the community pantry to feed him. I didn't steal anything. That food was mine. Liar. George saw you taking supplies from the pantry. I brought that food from home. Mary felt tears of frustration well up. I pinch every penny, skip meals sometimes, to help those in need. How dare you accuse me of theft? You'll regret raising your voice to me. Patricia turned to George. Call the police. Her and that filth are getting arrested for trespassing and theft. This is ridiculous. Mary shouted. You know it's a lie. Alex, who had been silent until then, finally spoke. His voice was calm, but there was steel in it. Are you sure you want to do this? Patricia looked at him like she just noticed a bug talking. Oh, the bum has a voice. How charming. Yes, I'm sure. And you'll be arrested for trespassing on private property. I see. Al. X nodded slowly. So there's nothing I can say to change your mind? Nothing. Now get out of my complex before I have George drag you out. Alex looked at Mary. There was something odd in his eyes. Something she couldn't read. But he just gave a slight nod and walked out quietly. Mary's heart broke. Now you. Patricia crossed her arms. You've got 5 minutes to grab your stuff and leave. And don't think about references. I'll make sure no one in this city hires you again. Oh God, Miss Patricia, please. Mary's legs buckled. Without that paycheck, how would she pay for Luke's surgery? I need this job. My son. Should have thought of that before being such an idiot. Patricia turned to leave but paused at the door. Oh, and speaking of being an idiot, I'm calling an emergency HOA meeting tonight. I'll lay out everything you did. Every resident will know what kind of person you are. When she left, Mary collapsed on the floor. Claudia rushed to hug her. I'm so sorry, friend. So sorry. Mary cried uncontrollably. Not for the humiliation. Not for the firing. But for Luke. For her sick boy who now wouldn't get the surgery he needed to live. Outside, hidden behind a pillar, Alex Harper watched it all. For the first time in months, he felt something beyond the sadness consuming him. He felt rage. A burning, purifying rage. He pulled out the burner phone he kept hidden and texted his lawyer. I need you here. Now. Time to end this experiment. If you saw someone being punished for doing good, would you have the courage to step in? Or would you stay silent, protecting your own comfort while injustice unfolds right in front of you? The emergency HOA meeting was set for 8 that night in the complex's party room. Patricia personally called the most influential residents, ensuring she'd have an audience for the show she planned. Mary got home exhausted. Ryan, her oldest son, was doing homework at the kitchen table. Luke slept on the couch, too pale, too tired. "Mom? What happened?" Ryan stood, worried. Mary tried to smile, but the tears came again. I lost my job, son." "How? Why?" She told him everything. Alex, the food, Patricia, the false accusations. Ryan hugged her tight. "You did the right thing, Mom. You always do. But now what? What about Luke's surgery?" Ryan paled. At 16, he knew exactly what that meant. We'll figure it out, Mom. We always do." But they both knew this time it might not work out. At 8 that night, Mary was in the party room. Not because she wanted to be, but because Patricia had demanded her presence to defend herself against the accusations. It was a trap, Mary knew. But she had no choice. The room was packed. At least 40 residents, all well-dressed, all looking at Mary with a mix of curiosity and disdain. She was still in her uniform, she hadn't had time to change. Patricia stood on the small stage, smiling like a predator about to devour her prey. "Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming to this emergency meeting." Her voice was fake sweet. "Today I discovered something alarming that affects all our safety." Mary stood at the back of the room, feeling every head turn toward her. "Our cleaner, Mary Jenkins," Patricia continued, "has been bringing homeless people into our complex. Allowing them to use our facilities, our showers, stealing food from our community pantry to feed them." Shocked murmurs rippled through the room. "That's a lie," Mary shouted. "I never stole anything. The food was mine." Silence. Patricia banged on the table. "George witnessed it. Please, tell them what you saw." George stood, his smirk even wider. "Saw her multiple times taking food from the pantry. Saw her letting a dirty bum use the changing room. Saw her giving our supplies to him." "Liar." Mary's blood boiled. "You know it's all lies. Moreover," Patricia went on, ignoring Mary, "she put us all at risk. That homeless guy could be a criminal. Could have diseases. Could have attacked one of us, especially our kids. He was just hungry." Mary couldn't hold back. "He didn't hurt anyone. He just needed help." A resident stood, a blonde woman around 40 named Fernanda. "And you think that justifies it? Bringing a dirty stranger into our home?" "He wasn't dirty. I let him shower." "In our shower?" Another resident, Veronica, made a disgusted face. "That's gross. I'll have to disinfect everything." "Are you hearing yourselves?" Mary looked around, incredulous. "You're talking about a human being like he's trash." "Trash is exactly what he is." The voice came from a man in the front, Edward, owner of a car dealership. "People like that choose to live on the streets. Lazy bums who won't work." "How do you know?" Mary shot back. "Did you talk to him? Ask his story? Or did you just look and decide he was worthless because of his clothes? Look at how she's talking to us." Patricia feigned outrage. "Disrespectful, arrogant. And she wants to play the victim." "I'm not the victim here. You're the ones being cruel." "Cruel?" Patricia laughed. A shrill, unpleasant laugh. "Honey, you have no idea where you are, do you? This is a luxury complex. We have standards. Rules. And one of them is no bringing bums inside." "Standards." Mary repeated the word bitterly. "Is that what you call lack of humanity now? Enough." Patricia banged the table again. "Let's vote. All in favor of immediate termination of Mary Jenkins for cause, raise your hands." 40 hands went up. Some hesitant, others firm. But all rising. Mary's legs went weak. Termination for cause meant no severance, no unemployment benefits, nothing. It was the worst kind of firing. The decision is made. Patricia smiled triumphantly. You've got 24 hours to turn in your uniform and keys. And don't even think about references. I'll personally make sure everyone knows you're a thief and a liability. Mary couldn't speak. The room spun around her. Oh, and one more thing. Patricia stepped off the stage and approached Mary, speaking low enough for only her to hear. I know your son is sick. Needs an expensive surgery. Too bad, huh? But you should have thought of that before being so stupid. It was the last straw. Mary would have lunged at the woman, screamed, made a scene. But she didn't get the chance. Because at that moment, her eyes turned to the window. Outside, partially hidden behind a tree, was Alex. He'd seen everything. Heard everything. And in his eyes, Mary saw something that scared her. A rage so intense, so deep, it seemed to burn. Then he turned and vanished into the darkness. Mary stumbled out of the party room. She didn't remember walking to the bus stop. Didn't remember the ride home. Just remembered arriving and seeing Ryan still awake, waiting. Mom? I got fired. For cause. No payout. Ryan hugged her, and they both cried. Luke woke to the noise, saw them crying, and understood without asking. Sorry, Mom, the boy said weakly. Sorry for being sick. For costing so much money. No. Mary rushed to hug him. Never say that. Never. You're my son. I'd give my life for you. I'd give everything. But now I'm gonna die because you don't have money for the surgery. You won't. I'll figure it out. I always do. But this time, Mary didn't know how. That night, Alex Harper was in a 5-star hotel, one of his own hotels, ironically. He'd taken a real shower for the first time in months, gotten a haircut, shaved. He looked in the mirror at a man he almost didn't recognize. His lawyer, Robert, stood beside him. You sure about this, Alex? Going public will cause a huge scandal. I'm sure. Alex didn't take his eyes off the mirror. 3 months on the streets, Robert. 3 months getting spit on, kicked, humiliated. And how many people helped me? One. Just one person in 3 months. The cleaner. Mary Jenkins. She shared her food with me. Food she could barely afford herself. She risked her job, everything she had, to defend me. And today I watched her get destroyed for it. What do you want me to do? Alex finally turned. Call a meeting tomorrow. In the complex. All residents required. I'm revealing everything. And the woman? Mary? Draft a job offer. Social Responsibility Coordinator at Harper Enterprises. $10,000 a month salary. And a check for $100,000 to cover her son's surgery and leave some extra. Robert nodded. Anything else? Yes. I want Patricia Dunn's lease agreements. And all the security footage from the hidden cameras I installed in the complex last month. You installed cameras? I did. Was documenting for a book. But now I'll use it for something better. Alex smiled, but it was a cold smile. I'll use it for justice. Is there a limit to how much suffering a person can take before they break? And when someone is punished for doing good while the cruel thrive, where is God's justice? Patricia Dunn woke in excellent spirits. She'd scheduled a gala dinner for that night in the party room. International investors, big-shot businessmen. It was her chance to shine, to show she still had influence and power. Mary had been just a minor obstacle removed. Already forgotten. At 8 that night, the party room was stunning. Soft lights, expensive decor, French champagne. Patricia wore a designer dress that cost more than Mary made in 6 months. The guests arrived. Businessmen, politicians, socialites. All laughing, drinking, celebrating mutual success. But at 9, something odd happened. A man entered the room. Tall, well-dressed, impeccable suit, fresh haircut. Some didn't recognize him right away. Others, especially the businessmen there, went pale. "My God," Edward, the dealership owner, muttered. "It's Alex Harper." The name spread through the room like wildfire. Alex Harper. One of the richest men in the country. Everyone knew he'd vanished months ago after his wife's death. Rumors said he'd gone mad. Patricia, ever the opportunist, rushed to him with the brightest smile she could muster. "Mr. Harper. What an incredible honor to have you here. We haven't seen you in so long. Are you well? Need anything?" Alex looked at her. His gaze was so cold that Patricia felt a chill run down her spine. "I'm doing great, Patricia." His voice was calm, controlled. "By the way, I've been here almost every day these past few weeks." Confusion crossed her face. "What do you mean? I would have noticed." "Would you?" Alex walked to the center of the room. Everyone parted, forming a circle around him. "Let me refresh your memory." He signaled. Robert, the lawyer, entered with a laptop and projector. In seconds, images appeared on the white wall. The first showed a ragged man drinking from the pool. Patricia went pale. "No." "Yes." Alex turned to her. "That homeless bum you despised so much? That was me." Absolute silence. You could hear a pin drop. 3 months ago, I decided to run a social experiment. Live on the streets, invisible, to test people's humanity. To see if there were still good people in this rotten world. Alex looked around. "And you all failed the test." The images changed. They showed George raising his nightstick. Residents looking at Alex with disgust, spitting on the ground as he passed. "I was chased off, humiliated, assaulted. By you." The same people now here sipping champagne and pretending to be civilized. Edward tried to speak. "Mr. Harper, we didn't know it was." "Exactly." Alex nearly shouted. "You didn't know who I was. And that's why you treated me like trash. Because to you, if someone has no money, they have no value. No respect. No basic humanity." More images. Now of Mary. Mary offering the lunchbox. Mary defending Alex from George. Mary being humiliated at last night's meeting. But there was one person. One single person in this entire complex. Who saw me as a human being. Alex's voice trembled with emotion. Mary Jenkins. A cleaner making minimum wage, working 3 jobs, scraping by. She shared her food with me. Defended me. Gave me dignity. Patricia tried to laugh, but it came out as a nervous squeak. "Mr. Harper, there must be some misunderstanding." "Misunderstanding?" Alex signaled again. More images. These are from last night. The meeting where you falsely accused Mary Jenkins of theft. Where you fired her for cause, knowing she desperately needed that money to save her son's life. The image froze on Patricia's face saying, "I know your son is sick. Too bad. But you should have thought of that before." "My God," someone murmured. "She's a monster." Patricia was almost purple. This is invasion of privacy. It's illegal." The cameras were in common areas, with approval from the previous HOA board. Perfectly legal. Robert spoke for the first time. And we have more. New images. George assaulting homeless people. George shaking down vendors. George taking bribes to let people into the complex at night. George, at the back of the room, tried to run. But two undercover cops Alex had brought intercepted him. George Silva, you're under arrest for assault, extortion, and corruption. One said, cuffing him. Alex turned back to Patricia. And you, Patricia Dunn. As majority shareholder in this complex, I'm exercising my right to remove you from all administrative positions. Effective immediately. You can't do that. I can and I am. Additionally, my lawyer is suing you for defamation, wrongful termination, and emotional distress against Mary Jenkins. The damages will be substantial. Robert stepped forward. We're also terminating your lease for violation of community guidelines. You've got 48 hours to vacate the unit. Patricia's face crumbled. Without the apartment, without her position, she was nothing. Her whole life was built on appearances. This will ruin you. She screamed at Alex. I'll tell everyone you're crazy. That you lost it after your wife's death. No one will do business with you. Tell whatever you want. Alex was calm. But the facts speak for themselves. And the facts show you're a cruel person, without empathy, who destroyed an innocent woman's life out of pure malice. He turned to the others. You were all complicit. All voted to fire her. All stayed silent when you saw injustice. Because it was easier. Because it didn't affect you. Shame washed over the faces. Some looked down. Others tried to justify. We didn't know her situation. Fernanda started. Didn't care to know. Alex cut her off. Just assumed she was disposable. That she didn't matter. More silence. Where's Mary now? Alex asked. I don't know. Patricia was crying now, mascara running down her face. Please, Mr. Harper, I didn't know it was you. If I'd known. If you'd known, you'd have treated me differently. That's exactly the problem. Alex turned. Robert, go get Mary. She needs to be here. 20 minutes later, Mary entered the party room. She was pale, thin, with deep dark circles under her eyes. When she saw Alex, clean, well-dressed, clearly someone of means, she stopped, confused. Mr. Alex? Alex walked to her. Tears streamed freely down his face now. Mary. Forgive me. For not revealing who I was sooner. For letting you suffer consequences for what you did for me. I don't understand. Mary looked around, seeing all the stares fixed on her. I'm Alex Harper. Owner of Harper Enterprises. Majority shareholder in this complex. He took her hands. And you, Mary Jenkins, are the only person who treated me with humanity when there was nothing in it for you. Mary's legs gave way. Alex steadied her. You taught me something I'd forgotten. That good people still exist. People who do the right thing because it's right, not for reward. He signaled to Robert, who brought a folder. This is a check for $100,000. For Luke's surgery and to help you start over. Alex placed the folder in her trembling hands. And this is a job offer. Social responsibility coordinator at my company. $10,000 a month. Mary looked at the check. Then the contract. Then at Alex. And burst into tears. I can't accept this. It's too much. Way too much. It isn't. You saved my life, Mary. Literally. I was suicidal when I met you. Planning to jump off a bridge. But you showed me it's still worth living. That good things exist in this world. Alex hugged her as she cried. Luke will get his surgery. Your sons will have top education. You'll never worry about money again. And you'll help me turn this company into something that truly makes a difference. When Mary finally spoke, her voice was choked. I just did what my mom taught me. Treat people with dignity. And that's rarer than it should be. Alex turned to the silent crowd. Let this be a lesson. Character has no price. Humanity has no social class. And none of us is better than anyone else just because we have more money in the bank. Patricia was still there, broken, sobbing. Some residents approached Mary, trying to apologize. But Mary saw through them. Saw the falseness, the self-interest. No need. She said calmly. You showed who you really are. And I learned I don't want to be like you. Alex smiled proudly. And you? If you found out you'd mistreated a powerful person disguised as poor, would you be ashamed just because they were important, or because you'd realize every person deserves respect, no matter who they are? 6 months later, Mary's life was unrecognizable. Luke had his surgery 3 weeks after that fateful night. It was a success. Now the boy ran and played like any healthy teen, without the constant fatigue, without the pallor that had terrified Mary. Ryan had enrolled in an elite private school, full scholarship courtesy of Alex. The boy discovered a talent for coding and was already in national competitions. Mary moved to a small but comfortable apartment in the same complex, a unit Alex had renovated just for her. No longer as staff. As a resident. But the biggest change was her job. Mary now coordinated the Dignity Project, an initiative of Harper Enterprises that turned vacant units into affordable housing. Not handouts. Real opportunity. Families paid subsidized rent, got job training, mental health support. In 6 months, 200 families had been helped. People who'd lived on the streets now had addresses, jobs, hope. Mary visited each family personally. Listened to their stories. Cried with their pains. Celebrated their wins. It was natural to her, that genuine ability to care. You were born for this, Alex said one morning as they visited the new community center being inaugurated. The center took over the old exclusive party room. Now it had a library, computer lab, workshop spaces, community kitchen. All open to residents and visitors. Still feels like a dream sometimes, Mary admitted. I wake up thinking I'll be late for my cleaning shift. Then I remember my life flipped completely. It flipped because you deserved it. And because you had the courage to do right when it was hard. Alex had changed too. He still wore expensive suits, still ran a business empire. But now he invested heavily in social responsibility. Half his hotels had programs hiring vulnerable people. Free training courses. Support for those start. Over. You know what my wife would have said if she were alive? Alex asked, watching kids play in the new complex playground. What? That you saved me. She always said character shows in how we treat those who can't give us anything back. You proved that. Mary smiled, but it was a sad smile. Patricia had her character revealed too. Patricia Dunn had fallen completely from grace. Alex's lawsuit was brutal. She lost the apartment, had to sell her designer clothes to pay lawyers. The scandal made national news. But the worst was social. Her rich friends abandoned her instantly. No one took her calls. She ended up moving to another city, taking a regular job, living a regular life. Everything she'd always despised. George got 3 years for assault, extortion, and corruption. Investigations uncovered a decade of abuses. Dozens of victims testified. I feel sorry for her, Mary said, and it was true. Patricia, I mean. She built her whole life on appearances. When they crumbled, nothing was left. You've got a very generous heart. It's not generosity. It's just sadness. For how much time she wasted being cruel. For all the chances to be better that she threw away. At that moment, a woman approached. Young, maybe 25, with a small child in her arms. "Ms. Mary? I wanted to thank you." Mary smiled. "Hi, Roberta. How's Julia?" "Better. So much better." Roberta looked at her daughter with love. "I got the receptionist job at the hotel. Started last week. And the daycare here watches her while I work. That's wonderful. It's all thanks to you. If not for the Dignity Project, I'd still be under a bridge with my baby." Tears ran down Roberta's face. "You saved our lives. It wasn't just me. It was a whole team. But you believed. You didn't look at me like trash. You saw me as a person." After Roberta left, Alex put a hand on Mary's shoulder. "You still think you don't deserve this? Look at how many lives you've touched." Mary looked around. Kids playing. Adults chatting animatedly. People who once had nothing now had hope. "You know what I think?" she said slowly. "My mom was right. God rewards those who do good. Maybe not right away. Maybe not how we expect. But He does. Your mom was wise. She was. And she'd be proud of this." Mary gestured to the community center. Of knowing kindness begets kindness. That one simple act of compassion can change everything. Alex nodded. "Want to know what else changed?" "What?" "Me. I was so lost in my grief I'd forgotten what matters. You reminded me. Taught me to see people, not their situations. You were already a good person, Alex. Just hurt. Maybe. But you healed me. Gave me reason to keep going." They stood in comfortable silence, watching life unfold around them. "You know what's funny?" Mary said. "I always thought being rich meant no problems. But now I see the problems are the same. Just the solutions are easier. Deep. It's true. Rich or poor, everyone wants to be seen. Respected. Loved. Money doesn't change that. It doesn't." Mary turned to him. "Thank you, Alex. For everything. For Luke's surgery. The job. The opportunity. But mostly for showing me doing right always pays off, even when it doesn't seem like it. I should be thanking you. You saved more than my body when you gave me that food. You saved my soul." At the official opening of the community center, hundreds attended. Press, politicians, executives. But also the project beneficiaries. Whole families getting a second chance. Mary gave a short but moving speech. "A few months ago, I was fired for doing what I thought was right. For standing up for someone society deemed invisible. At that moment, I thought I'd lost everything. But really, I gained something much bigger." She looked at the audience. "I gained confirmation that values matter. That character matters. That how we treat others, especially the most vulnerable, defines who we truly are." Tears flowed freely on many faces in the crowd. This center is a symbol. It's not just about housing or jobs. It's about restoring dignity. It's about telling everyone who walks through these doors, you matter. You're seen. You deserve respect. Applause echoed through the room. Alex approached the microphone. "Mary Jenkins is the heart of this project. But she's also living proof that kindness still exists. That humanity still exists. And that doing the right thing always pays off, even if the road is rough." He paused. "There's a plaque we're putting at the entrance. I want to read it to you. An assistant brought the plaque. Alex held it up for all to see. Hope Community Center, where humanity triumphs over indifference. Dedicated to all who choose to see people, not circumstances. More applause. More tears. When the ceremony ended and people dispersed, Mary stood alone for a moment in the center of the room that had once been the stage of her humiliation. Ryan and Luke approached. Luke was smiling, rosy-cheeked, healthy. Ryan had grown a few inches, looked more mature. "Mom, you killed that speech," Ryan said. "True. Even I cried, and guys don't cry," Luke joked. Mary hugged them tight. "You boys are my world. Everything I do is for you." "We know, Mom. And we love you so much." That night, Mary wrote in her journal, a new habit she'd picked up. "Dear Mom, wherever you are, thank you. For teaching me character matters more than money. That dignity has no price. That every human deserves respect. Today we opened the center. Hundreds of families will get a second chance. And it all started because I chose to treat a ragged stranger with humanity. You always said God rewards those who do good. You were right. But the reward wasn't just the money or job. It was knowing I made a difference. Seeing Luke healthy. Helping others. Learning kindness multiplies. That one simple act can change everything. Love you, Mom. And I'm trying to make you proud." 3 months later, the Dignity Project became a national model. Other executives started similar initiatives. Mary was invited to speak at universities, business conferences, social events. She always said the same, "I'm not special. I just treat people like people." If that's exceptional, something's very wrong with our society. Patricia, in the city she'd fled to, watched one of those speeches on TV. Saw Mary, elegant, confident, inspiring crowds. Saw what would been if she'd chosen kindness over cruelty. For the first time in her life, Patricia understood. Understood what she'd lost. Not the luxury apartment or social status. But the chance to be a better person. It was too late to change the past. But maybe not too late to change the future. She picked up her phone, typed an email. "Mary, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know, you taught me something important. And I'm trying to be a better person. Thank you." Mary read the email days later. Thought long before replying. "Patricia, everyone deserves second chances. If you really want to change, start treating well those who can't give you anything back. That's how character is measured. Good luck on your journey." Alex, reading over her shoulder, smiled. "Always generous. It's not generosity. It's justice. Everyone deserves a chance to grow." And so, in an apartment complex that once symbolized segregation and elitism, something new bloomed. Something better. A real community. Where rich and poor coexisted. Where kids from different classes played together. Where dignity wasn't a luxury, but a right. Mary kept up her work. Alex expanded the project to other cities. Luke graduated high school with honors. Ryan got into college on a full engineering scholarship. And every morning, when Mary woke in that apartment that once seemed impossible, she gave thanks. Not for the material comfort. But for the confirmation that doing right always pays off. Because in the end, character is what we take when everything else is gone. Kindness is currency that never devalues. And dignity is the only luxury that truly matters. Mary and Alex's story spread. Became a book. A documentary. Inspired thousands. But for Mary, the real win was simple, being able to look in the mirror and recognize the woman staring back. A woman who chose humanity when it would have been easier to turn away. A woman who proved kindness still exists. And that it still changes the world, one person at a time. And you? Looking at your own path, can you honestly say you treat everyone with dignity, no matter what they can offer? Or does your respect have a price? Because in the end, our legacy isn't measured in dollars, but in hearts touched, lives improved, and humanity restored in a world that needs it so badly. This story is a reminder that each of us has the power to make a difference. Not through grand gestures, but through small acts of kindness that multiply. Treat the homeless guy on the corner well. Be kind to the janitor. Recognize humanity in everyone. Because character shines exactly there, in how we treat those who can't give us anything in return.